Confused and busy. I think that's us.
Confused and busy.
Yeah, or just sort of uncertain, but with a direction as well, kind of, energy, uncertain energy. Yeah, something like that. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think you know. I think I know what you're saying, or I hope I know. If I ever read any criticism about you guys, it's that you think too much.
Think too much. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Think too much. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of
course. Yeah. It's on one level, it's only music, and if you don't think about it too much, then maybe that means the music is more pure and coming straight from the heart. But I don't really agree with any of that. That's like lots of people used to say about jazz artists in America, that these guys, they can't read music or anything, but they're playing purely from the heart, and they're not thinking about it, they're not talking about it, they're just it's like they're savages in a way, and it's like which is just terrible, kind of crazy logic. Look at somebody like Miles Davis, who went to the Juilliard Academy and studied music at the highest possible level, but nobody ever talks about it. They prefer this idea of somebody who's just primal force making music and not understanding it, rather than somebody who if asked to play E flat minor with an added third, can do it straight away and explain musical theory. And people don't like to see the strings, I suppose, and they don't like musicians talking about the strings that are making things work, making the puppet move. So that's thinking too much, I suppose. Yeah, but then when we're writing and recording, we just play the songs over and over again until they're right, and keep changing them, and that's thinking as well, in a way. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
So do you think that's a myth, the whole idea that, music should be purely intuitive?
I think it is a myth. I think people want their music to sound like that, which is good. And I think some people want to believe that music is like that. But often it's not. We've recorded very simple music, and it's taken a very long time. We had a song called Street Spirit on the Bends, the last song on the Bends, and that's pretty simple. But that took us like 2 months to get right. It's like anything. It's like a poem. Can some poets take a year to write a poem, and then you read it in 30 seconds, and you don't know it's taken so long, and you shouldn't know. It should be hidden. It should just work for you. So I don't know. Yeah, I think too much. I suppose maybe we do sometimes think too much, but I don't think you can hear that in the music. You can just hear it in interviews like this.
Yeah, because that also seems like you're just saying about the poem. Then you don't know somebody's been working on it for a year. With you guys, it's different, because every time you do something, you're sort of forced to pick it apart in conversations like these later on. Yeah,
well, it can be good to pick things apart and make sense of it, but and we don't mind doing it. We're sort of interested as well, because we want to make sense of it too, I suppose. And we've got half an idea of what we're trying to do, and sometimes you meet somebody who's got the other half of the idea. So it's interesting.
So, and also just talking about the thinking, I wonder, do you feel there's a clear distinction between thinking and feeling?
God, that's
is it like
a huge question.
Yeah. Is it too?
Is there a huge difference between thinking and feeling? I suppose you use thinking to make a framework for the music, and then when you perform it, you do it with more feeling. You use thinking to, in a way, write the music down on paper, but then when you go and perform it, you don't think about what's on the paper, you just think of the music. So it's not enough to just set up in a studio as a band and jam and, and trust that your feeling is going to provide good music. You have to use some thought first, I think.
I wonder, recently, what music by other artists has really blown you away?
I'm listening to lots of Trojan reggae at the moment. I've never heard any of it. It's all new to me, and it's one of those things that you find one record and you think, can there really be like hundreds of records like this by these people and that are so good? And there really are. So it's just happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'll do that. I'm one of those annoying people that will now go and find lots of recordings and hear nothing else for a month and be obsessed, and then kind of just hear too much of it and go crazy. And then, so I'm in the middle of that, really, you know.
So you haven't lost like your enthusiasm for other people's stuff.
Yeah, but it's like an unhealthy one. It's about kind of gorging yourself, like overeating, and then, you know, and then waiting for the next taste, and then overeating that one. So yeah, and I've always done that since I was very, very, very young. So my sister would come home with her records, my older sister, and me and my brother would play the record like 5 times in the morning and 5 times in the afternoon, and she'd get very angry, and she'd get bored of it, and we'd keep going for a few more days, and then we'd stop. Then we'd be bored of it. You know, it's like overeating. Very weird.
Like which ones? What records have you?
Kind of magazine, and what else would she bring home? You know, I was like 9 or 10 or something, and she'd bring magazine and the Buzzcocks, and
wow.
You know, very lucky that she had good taste. My sister, Joy Division, she'd bring back, and New Order and stuff. We were lucky, you know. She could have been bringing us, you know, Iron Maiden and or whoever, terrible bands from the late 70s.
That could have been fun too.
Could have been fun. No, that's true. Yeah, maybe that would have been fun. But no, she was bringing us all this kind of quite dark music, or for herself, she was bringing it, and we learned from that, really.
Okay, so oh wow, that's interesting. I wonder, like, I think a lot of people, when they think of you guys being in the studio and working on new albums, that it's all, you know, very contemplative all the time. I wonder, do you goof around in the studio? Or do you?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear, like on this record, the first song, 2 and 2 is 5, at the beginning you can kind of hear what Tom's saying, and you can sort of hear that everybody's happy, because they were, and it was goofing around. Yeah, it can be really fun, you know. Yeah, I think so.
So do you need to be friends to keep going in a band like this for so long?
Yeah, of course. You know, and we are, luckily. You know, we're all in each other's houses all the time, and it's great. We never go out as 5 people, but we all see each other all the time, so it's good.
I wonder, from what I've heard from the album, it's not completely different from what you've done before, but you have tried to find new grounds. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's that balance thing, isn't it? It's doing things that are new for the sake of it, or which sometimes. What am I saying? Yeah, it's you know, we're not scared to use, and not scared is the wrong word, but we're excited by all of these things. We're excited by computers and by pianos and guitars, and if the song demands it, then we're happy to kind of, you know, just go into a room and choose the instrument we need, even if it's a computer or if it's a keyboard, or and that's the motivation behind these things, really. Yeah.
You personally, you really like instruments or different instruments, right? Or experimenting with them more.
Yes, I mean there's some great instruments around. I'm kind of stopping that. I'm just getting suspicious of, you know, it's like I kind of, there's lots of instruments I play that we never record, and so I'm kind of stopping that whole slightly irritating thing of looking for new instruments to play, because it sort of feels like I have enough, really, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah,
and what are your favorites right now?
Probably the guitar and the keyboard, piano. I love my laptop. I love programming in computer languages, like building music software, writing. I love doing that at the moment. And I still love the anonymity, which is this kind of French electronic keyboard that has really inspired me. And they're probably my favourites, really, the anonymity and the guitar.
What makes the guitar so special?
It's just kind of instant and quick, and you know, and you can do things on it very quickly, and it's a physical object, and that's about it. I'm not really interested in the history of it or the connotations of sounding like old records. That it's more just that it's, you know, it's light and you can plug it into something, and it's, you know, it's kind of a useful tool.
Yeah, a useful tool. That doesn't sound very passionate.
Well, it's it's 11 years old and it's a bit scratched, and it's all right, and I've only got one, and that's kind of as exciting as I feel about it.
Okay. I think we have to stop.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much.